Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something you submitted, and honestly, it's right up my alley. We're diving into Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. It's a science fiction novel, and let me tell you, it's got me hooked. The format is really unique. It's not your typical storytelling. It reads like we're piecing together this mystery through like declassified documents, interview transcripts, and research
Oh
reports.
yeah, it's a really clever way to build suspense, that's for sure. The reader becomes the investigator, like trying to connect the dots right alongside the characters.
Exactly. And the mystery starts with a bang. Well, literally, a giant hand discovered in, of all places, Deadwood, South Dakota. And this isn't just any hand, it's 23 feet long. I mean, it dwarfs even the biggest redwood trees. The discovery is made by a young girl named Rose Franklin. And this event, I mean, it shapes her entire life.
Yeah, the sheer scale of the hand, it immediately raises so many questions. It's made from this incredibly dense yet lightweight alloy, composed primarily of iridium. Now, iridium is a rare and valuable metal here on Earth, often found in meteorites, actually. So this detail alone suggests the hand isn't of earthly origin.
It's like something straight out of a blockbuster movie, and it gets even more intriguing. The hand is covered in these intricate carvings that emit this strange turquoise light. And there are symbols, but no one can decipher them. Initially, the research team, led by a man named Hudson, tries to explain it away as like an ancient temple. They even misclassify the site to avoid scrutiny.
Yeah, but the carbon dating results, they didn't line up with their theory at all, indicating the site was far older than they initially claimed. Years later, Rose, who became a physicist, returns to investigate the hand. She's not satisfied with the initial explanation, especially after analyzing the alloy's composition. It's so advanced it leads her to believe it wasn't built by humans.
I can only imagine the scientific community's reaction to her theory. Talk about a paradigm shift. But it's Rose's report that catches the attention of the NSA. And they quickly step in, which is interesting, because ancient artifacts don't seem like their typical area of expertise.
Right, the NSA's involvement definitely hints at the potential implications of this discovery. It's not just an archaeological find. It's something with, like, national security implications, perhaps even global. So Rose is given a team and resources to continue her investigation. They develop a technique using argon-37 detection, which allows them to pinpoint areas where recent nuclear activity has occurred, meaning something was moved or unearthed recently. This leads them to another piece of the puzzle, an arm discovered in Turkey.
Hold on, argon-37 detection. Can you break that down a bit? I'm sure some of our listeners might be scratching their head.
Sure. Argon-37 is it's an isotope of the gas argon. It's produced through nuclear reactions, and it has a relatively short half-life. So this means if they detect it, it indicates something was recently exposed to radiation, suggesting recent movement. They wouldn't find it if something had been buried undisturbed for thousands of years.
That's really clever. So they're essentially using nuclear forensics to track down these giant robot pieces. It's like a global treasure hunt, but with potentially world-altering consequences.
Exactly. And it's at this point that it becomes clear. They're dealing with pieces of a giant robot, not just isolated artifacts. This discovery triggers a race to find the remaining parts, with countries around the world scrambling to get their hands on this advanced technology. Just imagine the power dynamics shifting.
Mhm.
As one nation managed to control such a machine.
It's almost like a modern-day space race. But instead of aiming for the moon, they're trying to assemble a giant robot. It's exciting and terrifying all at the same time. Now, the story takes a dramatic turn when they finally locate the robot's torso. Not only do they find the torso, but they also discover a chamber within it, containing two pilot stations, one for arms and another for legs.
And this is where we meet another key character, Kara Resnick, a skilled but rebellious pilot recruited for the project. She's headstrong, independent, and a bit of a maverick, which makes her perfect for this mission.
Oh, I love a good Maverick character. They always shake things up. So what makes Kara so special? Why is she chosen to pilot this giant robot?
It's actually it's a bit of a lucky accident. During the excavation of the torso, they find a helmet. This isn't just any helmet. It somehow repairs a previous injury to Kara's eye. It's the first indication that this technology can interact with and potentially heal humans.
Okay, now that's just cool. A helmet that heals you. Sign me up. But it sounds like this robot is more than just a machine. It's almost biological.
It certainly blurs the line between technology and biology. It raises the question, did the creators intentionally design it this way? Was it meant to interact with humans on a deeper level than just piloting?
That's a great question. It makes you wonder if the creators knew something about humans. about our physiology that we don't even understand yet. It's like they were one step ahead of us, even thousands of years ago.
Precisely. And this brings us to another fascinating aspect of this robot, the control system. For a while, the team struggles to understand how it operates. The symbols and interfaces are unlike anything they've ever encountered. But Kara, with her sharp observation skills and a bit of intuition, cracks the code.
Okay, I have to know. How does she do it? What's the secret to controlling this giant robot?
It turns out the robot's creators used a base 8 mathematical system, unlike our base 10 system. Kara figures this out by studying the patterns and symbols on the control panels. It's a moment of pure genius. It showcases her problem-solving skills and willingness to think outside the box.
That's impressive. But what does this breakthrough mean for the project? Does understanding the control system unlock the robot's full potential?
It's definitely a significant step forward. Not only can they now operate the robot, but they also begin to decipher the formulas and information encoded within its systems. It's like cracking open a library of advanced knowledge, potentially holding the key to scientific advancements we can only dream of.
Talk about a knowledge goldmine. It's like stumbling upon an alien textbook, except this textbook can walk and talk, and maybe even heal you with its helmet. But, it's not all smooth sailing, right? I'm guessing this newfound knowledge comes with its own set of challenges and dangers.
Absolutely. The discovery of more robot parts around the world intensifies the political climate. Countries are on edge, worried about who will gain control of this advanced technology. There's a real fear of a global arms race, a scramble for power with the potential to destabilize the entire world.
So it's not just about scientific discovery anymore. It's about global power dynamics and the potential for conflict. It's fascinating how this story blends science fiction with real-world anxieties about technology and warfare. And it sounds like things are about to get even more complicated. With the introduction of a new character, Alyssa Papantonio.
Alyssa, she takes over the project after a tragic accident. She's a brilliant geneticist, but also ruthless and ambitious, willing to push ethical boundaries to achieve her goals. Her arrival marks a shift in the narrative, a move from scientific exploration to something darker and more morally complex.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. A brilliant but morally ambiguous scientist, that's always a recipe for trouble, especially when you're dealing with technology as powerful as a giant robot. What exactly does Alyssa have planned, and how does Kara fit into all of this? We'll have to unpack that in the next part of our deep dive. Welcome back to the deep dive. Last time, we left off with Alyssa Papantonio taking charge of the project after that tragic accident in the political climate. Oh boy, it's heating up. As more pieces of this giant robot are unearthed, it sounds like this race for knowledge and power is reaching a fever pitch.
Yeah, the tension definitely escalates in this part of the story, that's for sure. The global community is on edge. They're trying to figure out how to handle this incredibly advanced technology. And Alyssa's ambition, well, it doesn't exactly help the situation. She's determined to unlock the robot's secrets, even if it means pushing ethical boundaries.
And what about Kara? How does she navigate this increasingly complex and dangerous situation?
Well, Kara finds herself at odds with Alyssa's methods. She's uncomfortable with the experiments Alyssa wants to conduct, especially when they involve pushing Kara's limits as a pilot. There's this underlying question of whether Kara is a partner in the project or a subject of study, a tool to be exploited for scientific gain.
Yeah, it's a question that hits close to home for many people, especially in the world of scientific research. Where do we draw the line between advancement and exploitation, between curiosity and control?
Exactly. And it's a dilemma that Kara really grapples with throughout the story. She wants to understand the robot, to help unlock its potential, but not at the cost of her own well-being or the safety of others. She's caught in this web of scientific ambition, political maneuvering, and personal ethics.
So it's not just about assembling a giant robot anymore. It's about wrestling with the moral and ethical implications of this technology. It makes you think. What would you do if you were in Kara's shoes? Would you comply with orders even if they felt wrong? Would you risk everything to stand up for what you believe in?
Those are the questions Sleeping Giants forces us to confront. It's not a simple story of good versus evil. It's a more nuanced exploration of human nature, our drive for knowledge, our thirst for power, and our capacity for both great compassion and terrible cruelty.
It's a reminder that even the most groundbreaking discoveries can come with a heavy price. And speaking of heavy prices, there's a particularly heart-wrenching event that shakes the project to its core. Rose, who dedicated her life to understanding the robot, is tragically killed in an accident. during the excavation of one of its legs.
Yeah, Rose's death is it's a real turning point in the narrative. It devastates the team, especially Vincent, her longtime friend and colleague. He's consumed by grief and guilt, struggling to cope with the loss, and the realization that their pursuit of knowledge might have cost Rose her life.
It's a sobering reminder that progress isn't always linear or painless. Sometimes it comes with immense personal sacrifices. And it sounds like Vincent's grief makes him vulnerable to manipulation,
Mhm.
particularly by Alyssa, who sees an opportunity to further her own agenda.
Right. Alyssa definitely takes advantage of Vincent's emotional state, offering comfort and support. While subtly guiding him towards her way of thinking, she plays on his desire to honor Rose's legacy, suggesting that the best way to do that is to continue the project, to unlock the robot's secrets, no matter the cost.
It's a classic manipulation tactic, preying on someone's vulnerability to gain control. And it sounds like Alyssa's control over the project is growing, which can't be good news for Kara, who already has reservations about Alyssa's methods.
Yeah, the situation becomes increasingly fraught with tension. Kara is sidelined, her concerns dismissed as, emotional instability. Alyssa tightens her grip on the project, pushing forward with her experiments, her ambition bordering on obsession. She begins conducting unauthorized tests on Kara, pushing her physical and mental limits, treating her more like a lab rat than a pilot.
It's a chilling reminder that scientific progress can be so easily twisted to serve personal agendas, especially when unchecked by ethical considerations. But thankfully, Kara isn't alone in her struggle. She finds an ally in Ryan Mitchell, a member of the security team, who becomes increasingly suspicious of Alyssa's actions.
Ryan he's a fascinating character, a former soldier, disciplined and observant, but also deeply empathetic. He sees the toll Alyssa's experiments are taking on Kara, and he recognizes the moral implications of what's happening. He's not blinded by scientific ambition or political maneuvering. He sees the human cost of their actions.
It sounds like he's a much-needed voice of reason in a situation that's spiraling out of control. So how does he help Kara? Does he confront Alyssa directly? Does he try to expose her actions to the authorities?
Well, Ryan takes a more cautious approach. He knows that directly confronting Alyssa could backfire, potentially putting Kara in even more danger. So instead, he starts gathering evidence of Alyssa's unethical activities, documenting her experiments, her manipulations, and her disregard for safety protocols. He's he's building a case against her, hoping to find the right moment to expose her actions and protect Kara.
It's a risky move, but it shows his courage and loyalty. He's willing to risk his own career, his own safety, to do what's right. And it highlights another important theme in Sleeping Giants: the power of individual action in the face of systemic corruption or abuse of power.
Precisely. Even in a world of giant robots and advanced technology, it's the choices of individuals that ultimately shape the course of events. It's the quiet acts of resistance, the whispers of dissent that can eventually challenge the status quo and bring about change.
It's a message that resonates deeply, especially in a world where we often feel overwhelmed by larger forces beyond our control. But Sleeping Giants reminds us that we all have a role to play, that our choices matter, and that even small acts of courage can make a difference.
And sometimes those small acts of courage lead to something much bigger, something that completely alters the course of the story. In Kara's case, it's Ryan who ultimately rescues her from Melissa's clutches. He manages to expose her unethical experiments, leading to her removal from the project.
That's a huge win for Kara. And for the project itself, it's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope can emerge, and those who fight for what's right can prevail. But I have a feeling this victory is short-lived. After all, we're only halfway through the story, and there are still so many unanswered questions.
You're right, the story doesn't end there. In fact, it's about to take another dramatic turn, a turn that will challenge everything we think we know about the robot, its creators, and humanity's place in the universe. And at the center of this turn is a mysterious old man, a figure who has been lurking in the shadows, observing the project from a distance.
Okay, now I'm really curious. A mysterious old man. It sounds like we're about to enter some serious wise mentor territory. Perhaps someone who holds the key to understanding the robot's true purpose. Who is this old man, and what secrets does he hold?
That's the question that drives the next part of the narrative. The old man, he reaches out to Kara and Vincent, claiming to have information about the robot, its origins, and its ultimate purpose. But he's cryptic, his words are shrouded in riddles and warnings. He speaks of an ancient war, a warrior king, and a technologically advanced empire, suggesting that the robot is more than just a machine. It's a weapon, a protector, a legacy passed down through generations.
Wow, this is getting really intriguing. A legacy passed down through generations. It sounds like we're about to delve into some ancient history, perhaps uncover a hidden lineage that connects Kara and Vincent to this robot's origins.
Exactly. The old man suggests that Kara and Vincent aren't just random pilots chosen for their skills. They are descendants of the soldiers who brought the robot to Earth thousands of years ago. They're part of a lineage. A chosen few destined to pilot this machine and fulfill its purpose.
Okay, now we're entering some epic sci-fi territory. Chosen ones, ancient legacies, a robot that's more than just a machine. It's like all my favorite science fiction tropes rolled into one. But I'm also sensing a hint of danger. The old man mentions an ancient war. Does that mean there's a threat lurking out there? Something that this robot was built to protect us from?
That's the question that hangs over the rest of the story. The old man's warnings are both fascinating and unsettling. He hints at a conflict that spans centuries, a conflict that may be about to reignite, with Earth caught in the middle. He suggests that humanity is being tested, that our actions, our choices will determine our fate.
It's a classic science fiction trope. Humanity on the brink, our actions shaping the course of history. But in Sleeping Giants, it feels particularly poignant, especially given the ethical dilemmas we've already encountered. It makes you wonder, are we ready for this kind of responsibility? Can we handle the power of this technology without destroying ourselves or others in the process?
Those are questions that Sleeping Giants doesn't shy away from. It forces us to confront our own biases, our own assumptions about technology and progress. It challenges us to think critically about the consequences of our actions, both individually and collectively.
It's a lot to unpack, isn't it? We've gone from a giant hand in South Dakota to ancient wars and humanity's place in the universe. And we're not even done yet. I can't wait to see what revelations and challenges await us in the next part of our deep dive. Welcome back to the depth dive. We left off with some major bombshells. A mysterious old man has entered the scene, claiming to have knowledge about the giant robot's true origins and purpose. He hinted at an ancient war and suggested that Kara and Vincent are descendants of the soldiers who brought the robot to Earth. It's a lot to process.
It is indeed. This is where Sleeping Giants really shifts, from a mystery about this technological marvel to a story about legacy and responsibility. The old man, who we come to learn is a descendant of the warrior king involved in that ancient war, reveals that the robot's name is Themis, named after the Greek goddess of justice and divine order.
Themis. A fitting name for a robot that's supposed to protect humanity, but protect us from what exactly?
That's the question that really haunts Kara and Vincent. The old man doesn't give them straight answers. He speaks in riddles and metaphors, urging them to trust their instincts, to prepare for a coming storm, and to prove humanity's worthiness to wield such power. He warns them that Themis is not just a tool, but a judge, a force that will determine the fate of our species.
It's a lot of pressure to put on two people. It makes you wonder, is this old man a genuine guide or a manipulator with his own agenda? Is he trying to help humanity or steer us towards a specific outcome?
That ambiguity it's what makes Sleeping Giants so compelling. We're never quite sure who to trust or what to believe. The old man's motives, they remain shrouded in mystery, adding another layer of complexity to the story.
And speaking of complexity, remember that accident that happened during a test run, the one where Vincent's legs buckled, and he accidentally pressed a combination of buttons on the control panel? Well, the consequences of that accident are about to hit everyone like a shockwave.
Yeah. Themis vanished, disappeared into thin air, leaving behind this massive crater that swallows up a good chunk of Denver International Airport. No one knows where she went, how she teleported, or if she'll ever return.
Talk about a cliffhanger. One minute she's there, a symbol of both hope and fear, and the next, poof, she's gone, leaving the world in a state of chaos and uncertainty.
The disappearance of Themis throws everything into disarray. Governments panic, fearing the worst, accusations fly, conspiracy theories abound, and the fragile global order, it teeters on the brink of collapse.
So it's not just about understanding the robot anymore. It's about managing the fallout of its disappearance and trying to figure out what happens next. And in the midst of this chaos, where do Kara and Vincent stand?
They become scapegoats. Blamed for the accident, accused of treason, they're forced to go into hiding, hunted by various government agencies and shadowy organizations. It's a complete reversal of fortune, a stark reminder that even those who strive to protect humanity can become victims of fear and political maneuvering.
It's a classic theme in science fiction, the outsider, the misunderstood hero,
Hmm.
hunted by those they're trying to protect. But it also reflects a real-world anxiety about those in power, right? A tendency to scapegoat and shift blame when things go wrong.
Exactly. Sleeping Giants doesn't shy away from those uncomfortable truths. It shows us how easily trust can erode, how quickly fear can turn into paranoia, and how those in power often prioritize self-preservation over truth and justice.
It's a sobering reflection of our own world, isn't it? But even in the face of these challenges, Carr and Vincent, they don't give up. They're determined to clear their names, to
Yeah.
find Themis and understand her true purpose.
Their journey takes them on this global chase, filled with twists and turns, narrow escapes, and encounters with a cast of characters who both help and hinder their progress. They uncover more secrets about the ancient war, the warrior king, and the advanced empire that created Themis.
It sounds like a thrilling adventure, a blend of science fiction and espionage with high stakes and constant danger, but it's not just about the action, is it? There's a deeper emotional core to their journey, right?
Absolutely. As Kara and Vincent delve deeper into the mystery of Themis,
Mm.
they also confront their own pasts, their own fears, and their own beliefs about humanity's place in the universe.
Mm.
They wrestle with the weight of their legacy, the responsibility they've inherited, and the choices they must make to shape the future.
It's a journey of self-discovery as much as it is a quest for answers. And along the way, they encounter individuals who offer guidance, support, and sometimes cryptic clues. It's like they're piecing together a puzzle, with each encounter revealing another fragment of the truth.
And that truth, as it unfolds, is both awe-inspiring and terrifying. They learn that Themis is more than just a weapon. She's a guardian, a sentinel,
Yeah.
a last line of defense against the threat that humanity is not yet ready to comprehend.
So it's not just about an ancient war anymore. It's about a potential future conflict, a cosmic threat that looms over humanity. It sounds like we're getting into some end of the world territory here.
In a way, yes, but Sleeping Giants doesn't it doesn't offer easy answers or simple solutions. It doesn't paint a clear picture of good versus evil or offer a straightforward path to victory. Instead, it presents us with this complex web of choices, consequences, and uncertainties.
It's a story that embraces ambiguity, that forces us to confront the unknown and to grapple with the ethical dilemmas that come with wielding immense power. And in the end, it leaves us with more questions than answers.
But those questions are precisely what makes Sleeping Giants so thought-provoking, right? They linger in our minds long after we finish the book, prompting us to consider our own values, our own beliefs about humanity's potential, and our own responsibility in shaping the future.
It's a story that reminds us that knowledge is power, but it's also a burden, that progress can come at a cost, and that even the most noble intentions can have unintended consequences.
And ultimately, Sleeping Giants challenges us to ask ourselves, what would we do if faced with the same choices as Kara and Vincent?
Mhm.
Would we embrace the legacy, shoulder the responsibility, and step into the unknown, or would we shy away from the burden, hoping that someone else would save the day?
It's a question that stays with us, a question that forces us to confront our own beliefs
Yeah.
about courage, sacrifice, and the fate of humanity. And as this deep dive comes to a close, I encourage you to keep pondering that question, to consider what choices you would make, what risks you would take, and what legacy you would leave behind. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of sleeping giants. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a world of fascinating ideas and thought-provoking questions. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep